tell yourself this on the front page, TVM summary, page 85. I'm going to 85 now. So I call this TVM. Try to be conservative with your spacing, right? Don't use up too much. TVM summary. Okay. When you invest, so I'm going to split this up into investing and borrowing, okay? So when you invest, things are a little different than when you pay off a loan. And this is already aiming for exam review as well. So this is compounding per year. No surprises. Deposits per year, that's what PY stands for. And I will make this note. PY is equal to CY if payment is set to 0. Future value, amount accumulated at maturity, PMT is regular deposits. In dollars, okay, so that's a dollar amount. Equal to 0 if none. Okay, if you're not making regular deposit, you set it to 0. Okay, present value is the initial amount. Invested. I want to add this with a red pen, that the initial amount invested should be negative and the regular deposits should also be negative. Okay, they're leaving you interest rate leave as percentage. Okay, do not turn that into a decimal. N is always years times whatever PY is for you. And here's now formulas and functions that allow you to answer further questions. Interest earned or interest accumulated you can use sum of interest. You go 1, comma, years times PY. if you want the total interest, you got to make sure that n is not a decimal, okay? Because usually if you want the total interest, we just enter whatever is in here in our n. When you solve for it, you enter that here. If n is a decimal, you cannot use this one, okay? So that's how you figure out interest earned. The sum of interest must be used if, let's say, you do a 5-year investment and you only want to know how much interest you earned after 2 years, then you have to use this one. It's 1 comma 2 times whatever PY is, right? If you want to find out interest just for a little bit, like a stretch of your investment, then you have to use this one for sure. Okay. Next. How much will be in account in blank number of years? We use balance and then years times PY. That's another box. Principal invested. We go P is equal to present value plus N times PMT. I'll go rate of return formula just in case you forgot. It is in general interest earned divided by principal times 100. And I'm not sure if this is worth using up your space. Maybe you already have this. But monthly is 12. Semi-monthly is 24 a year. Weekly is 52. Bi-weekly is 26. Quarterly is 4. Semi-annually is 2. Daily 365. I think that's basically sums it up. Annually, do you know what that is? It's just 1, okay? It goes, hopefully that one you knew, but in case you don't. If you need that, you need it, right? Like those shouldn't be the reasons why you get something wrong, okay? That you forget that part. I think that's it for investing. Now I'm going to cut this whole thing in half. So we're about halfway through, right? This hole punch right here. So I'm going to cut it right there. Maybe leave just a little bit in the investing section just in case. Okay, so borrowing. Borrowing / withdrawing. Again, you can make this nicer later on. So, when it's borrowing and withdrawing, I'm going to do my TVM here as well. Try to go as far left as possible. Okay. I think CY is the same. Compounding periods per year doesn't change. PY is payments / withdrawals per year. Future value usually 0. Regular payments. Amount. Okay, so that's a dollar amount. Present value is should always go with original value minus the down payment. You always go minus the down payment. Okay. Interest is the interest rate, obviously. Leave as a percentage. And is still years times PY. Do I have to say anything else about this? Yeah, that the sign, the present value is going to be positive. Right? Whatever you get when you subtract, you have a positive value there. The payment is negative. Okay. And now some functions that are going to help us. Interest paid. Interest paid to the bank. We use this one again. It's 1 and then years times PY, or interest is N times PMT minus present value. No payments. We had that one weird question where you didn't make any regular payments. It just sat there until it was due, and you had to pay the whole thing off and at once. Jamie, do you remember that question? You asked me about the formula. Yeah. Then you have to do this. You have to use this one. Interest is simply future value minus present value. Okay? And I will say this one more time, somewhere on the side. Don't use this one, okay? If you're trying to find the total interest that was paid for the loan, and n will be a decimal, right? Normally, if this is 60, let's say it's 5 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60. We would go from 1 to 60, all of the interest paid. But if you solve for n and it's like 59.543 or whatever, don't go 1 comma, 59 point whatever. It's not going to work for you. It needs to be a whole number. So if it's a decimal, you have to use this formula right here. Okay, so this is interest paid. I'm going to box this off here for you. And let's do a couple more. Balance owing in blank number of years. We just go balance, and you just go years times PY. That's that. There's more. Total paid to the bank. This is not interest, this is just how much did you pay the bank at the end. I'm just going to say N times payment. Total paid for item is N times payment, watch this, plus your down payment, if there is one. Because you have to say everything you paid the bank plus the down payment. That's how much it costs you to actually own that item. Okay? So those are two formulas there for you. I'm going to kind of box those off. I feel like they're in a category on its own. Principal paid off or sorry, principal paid. 1 second. I have to make sure my formulas are right. Give me 1 second before I give them to you. Yes. Yeah. Principal paid off. This is the amount towards loan, not including interest. So one way is just principal is like present value minus balance of years times PY. That's one way to do it. Or you can use this one, sum of principal 1, comma, years times PY. So whichever one you choose is going to help you. I'm going to make a change to this title here. It says borrowing / withdrawing. Can you get rid of withdrawing? I'm just going to keep this as borrowing. I see something that could go wrong if I make it generic like that. Just borrowing. I hope you didn't use a pen. If you did use a pen, make sure you cross it off, okay? So these are the formulas. These are kind of like I don't know if you need necessarily to have the TVM entries on your study sheet, but I would definitely have all of these formulas that go with it somewhere on my study sheet. Try to make them smaller, and that should help you out. What is not here? I don't have rule of 72. I don't have simple interest. That I haven't talked about in a little while. I focus more on TVM because most of the questions are going to be TVM solver related, okay?